Covington will be headlining the ESPN or UFC on ESPN 5 card that's been going on Saturday. And some news that's been floating around. There have been a couple different things on him. One of them has to deal with his walkout, but the other has to deal with someone who he invited who apparently will be there. So the news is that Donald Trump Jr. and I believe even Eric Trump have confirmed that they will be at the event on Saturday, which if you're not a fan of Donald Trump, you might be like, oh, what the hell, this is stupid. But if you kind of put it in context and think about whether it's like Sasha Malia Obama or if it's like Chelsea Clinton, if you could imagine a fighter getting someone who's a part of the first family while they're still actively part of the first family to come to their fights, having a friendship with the president, or I guess friendship might be a bit of a strong word. He just visited him for like 30 minutes and said some nice words to him, but at least like having some form of a relationship with the president, it's actually pretty cool. And it's something that transcends beyond just the world of MMA, but it also transcends beyond that. So here I have a Fox News article on that. So it's just saying that Colby Covington had said that Trump's son will be at his next fight. I'll just play a little video clip where he makes that confirmation right here.
Colby, how's it going, man?
It's going good, baby. Just taking over New York.
Okay, repping the hat, repping the belt. How does it feel to be back in the Big Apple, dude?
Oh, it feels great, baby. It's good to be here and have the Trump support. They're going to be front row of my fight this weekend when I retire Robbie Lawler.
I heard about this. So you invited Donald Trump Jr. to the fight. This is officially, he will be there at the fight?
This is official. Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and a bunch of other people are going to be there with him.
Wow, that's a pretty stacked crowd to be cheering you on, dude. What are the chances he'll be walking you out to the octagon? Any chance of that happening?
You might have to tune in. I can't give you all. I can't turn back the curtain that much. You guys got to tune in this weekend and see the People's Champ in action, baby.
Okay, that's what's up. Is this the first time Donald Trump Jr. is going to be coming out to a fight, like supporting you?
Yeah, this will be the first time he's out there supporting me.
The first of many, hopefully, to come. And I gotta ask, when you look at someone like President Trump, if he were to ever personally ask you to actually like spar with him or train him, what would your answer be?
I would say absolutely, Mr. President. You know, anything you want me to do, I might have to speak as RNC next year for him. So I'm willing to do whatever President Trump wants me to do. I'm just supporting him.
Okay, when you see him, when you see his physical makeup, what do you think he'd be the most, like the best at if he were to be fighting or something? Would he be more of a fighter, grappler, taking people down?
No, I would say definitely boxing, man. I was shaking his hand in the Oval Office when I went to the White House last year, and he has bricks for hands, man. Literally shook my hand and literally over my whole hand. I was like, dude, this guy can literally knock someone out with one punch.
That's pretty crazy. What's it going to take to get the president to come to one of your UFC fights, dude?
I think just unifying this belt with Marty Fake Newsman November 2nd, Madison Square Garden. I think that's what it'll take.
That could be the one.
All right, so that's the interview right there. I don't need to replay it. But the point being, it's kind of cool to see him start to go beyond just the MMA circles and start to at least get in the political circles. Now, he's been talking about his support for Trump for a while, but after his last fight, that's when he actually went to the Oval Office and started to really seem to build a friendship with some of the guys around Trump. So this will be the first fight where that's kind of been built in, where there is the history of him going to the Oval Office. Now, I think it's worth mentioning, and it's kind of weird to me, but a lot of the previews for this fight seem to be focusing on what he did during Fleet Week, where he was just visiting a bunch of people in the Navy rather than the visit to the Oval Office. And I think the visit to the Oval Office should be promoted a little bit more if you're trying to build up Colby Covington and get more interest in the fight. I'm surprised they didn't do that up to this point. So I don't know whether that's ESPN deciding to take the opposite stance on we don't want to get involved in politics, where in this case they don't want to get involved in something that's a little bit more on the pro-Trump side. That could be the case, although there obviously is a crossover here, given that the athlete went to the Oval Office. So it's not like this would be completely separate from the sport. And it's not like you're making a comment on Trump or his administration. You're pretty much just saying, hey, look, Colby Covington did visit the sitting president. So I wish they would have gone into that a little bit more. But I think the angle that he's playing here, it's sort of surprising to me that so many fighters have been trying to find a way to stand out, and no one before Colby really thought to be the fighter of Trump or Donald Trump's favorite fighter. That's the angle that Colby tried to position himself in, and in winning the interim title fight, he pretty much ended up taking that spot right now. So good for him. If he does get the win over Robbie Lawler, and that's not going to be an easy fight. What I do find interesting about this fight, though, is that the odds on it are pretty heavily in favor of Colby. I think it's like a -240. And usually when you have a fight between two people who have trained together, you would imagine the odds makers are reaching out to people who have seen these sparring sessions before to at least get an idea of who's more likely to win or not. So assuming that the odds makers did their due diligence, and then the odds became -240, that seems to indicate that Colby actually did well in the gym against Robbie Lawler, which seems odd to me. I think from a matchup standpoint, I'd normally give the advantage to Lawler here, especially if you look at how the fights with Johnny Hendricks went, given that he was another southpaw wrestler. Now, granted, there are differences in style between Colby and Johnny, especially with their cardio, but you would have figured that Lawler has a lot of ways to win here, whereas Colby doesn't exactly knock people out with one punch. He likes to grind people down and wrestle them, but it's not like Robbie's an easy guy to do that too. So whatever the case may be, if Colby does go out there and does get the win and really starts showing off his friendship with the Trumps, you'd have to imagine, at least on political Twitter, not just MMA Twitter, the in-cage celebration could be pretty interesting if he does win on Saturday, and if he does get to celebrate with the Trumps and then is healthy, is ready by November to fight Marty, as he calls him, Marty Fake Newsman by then, there's a chance that Colby, who's been trying so hard to be marketable, trying so hard to get people to tune in, might be able to do enough here on this ESPN card where by the time he fights Marty Usman or Kamaru Usman, he actually draws a lot. So to me, there's a real potential here for Colby to break out as a star. Maybe not in like the star term as in someone who's really popular, but at least someone who people want to see, whether they want to see him lose or they just want to see what happens the next time he fights, because it seems like he brings a lot of interesting characters around him.